There we go. Good morning, everyone. Let's get started with a little bit of Master Joe Locke's style Tai Chi and Qi Gong. We're continuing in our uh, sequence of 7 stars in rotations Qigong for warm up, Phoenix just to keep it going, Phoenix and Graceful Clouds of Blessing, and finishing with the Immortals crossing the sea form. So 3 forms in 1 hour is quite it's quite a lot to ask of ourselves. So let's get started. We're going to begin with our 7 stars, and we're going to use the open stance for Wuji. Remember, depending on what you're doing, you can use open or closed stance. The open stance is maybe, is maybe a little easier on the body, a little bit more gentle. The closed stance maybe a little bit more physically demanding. They both have their benefits. But for today, let's start shoulder width and level. We float up through the top of the head, the chin down and back. Feel the spine gently lengthen. Allow the body to drape from the top of the head. As you breathe, let go through gravity and allow the tension to release. So we feel the top of the head drawing up, and we'll feel the base of the body feeling more full, rather like a bean bag being held up by its handle. With gravity, the beans release and become heaviest at the base. Release through the legs, into the feet, into the floor. Calming down, and keep going please as I let a latecomer in. There we go. So we're just getting ourselves into Wuji. Finding all 10 fingers, gently lengthen them down. Keep going, please. Calming down and listening behind. This is our deep preparation. So just listen and feel. Notice how the system is responding. Feel into it and let go. Now, Master Locke actually encourages us to stand like this in Wuji for half an hour before we begin our movement practice. He also encourages that we stand in Wuji for half an hour after our practice. We could do that, but actually we'd have to leave out the practice for an hour class. So we're just giving it a little bit of time. And I'll give you the stand as homework. Are we ready? Let's begin with open door 5. Heaven and earth rotations. Change of direction. And gather in, hands float up and expand. On the second level, heaven after earth. Change of direction. Back to center. Relax to center. Movement 3. Heaven, earth and man. Keep those knees in line with the toes. Checking posture. Relax to center. Take your time now to let go and release back into the center. And repeat. Gather the energy ball in, absorb it in, point to the eyebrow corners. Open at the collarbone, point the fingers towards the body and guide the energy. Connect with the energy as it flows. Back up the back of the legs. Describe the meridian round the waist and cover center. Check posture and relax to center. So remember, using a mirror can be very useful, or even watching yourself on the screen. For some reason I have a tilt that feels straight, but when I check I go, oh, okay, I need to fix that. And shoulders and hips, there's endless corrections that we can just gently guide ourselves into as we cover center. We want to get into our best alignment as we can, as quickly as we can, and then let go into that good alignment. So please don't be adjusting, adjusting, adjusting the whole time. I want you to really let yourself relax in good posture. Good. One more time, please. Ready? And gather. Slightly forwards. Good. Draw in. Feel down the face and neck. Feel across the collarbones and down through the body. The inside, around the feet, up the outside of the back, and center. Well done. Last time check posture. Relax to center. Good. Let's release the hands and we begin our little heaven and earth rotation. Good. We turn to your front east. So that is to your left. Okay. And we're going to do our lower, middle, and upper rotations for dragon. We step to the side and skim. Flip the toes and turn palms under the arm. Tiger. Your back hand, your right hand scoops under and we expand. Turn the ball and step. For Phoenix to the south. Remember not to go into the Phoenix form. We want then to flip the toes and turn the waist. Wrap the arms around and press the hands away, looking over the shoulder for the snake. Release, lasso the top arm and flip the toes. Repeat. On the other side, look over the shoulder, press the hands away. Good. Release. We're going to do that again because I enjoyed it so much. Ready? Turn and look over the shoulder. Lengthen through the top of the head. Lasso and flip. Press. Good. Let's return to center. You can take a breath and relax down. And we'll come more into center screen. There we go. And we'll go into the turtle. So we cross hands, sit back and down. Fill your back. Lengthen the top of the head up, the chin down and back. Fill the hands forwards as the back in one curve fills back. Engage the whole body in the stretch. And release down. Turning to your front left, so that's southeast for our element, number 5. Ready? We step the right side through, roll back, float up, square up, step, left side through, block the front hand, step back, spit out the tongue. That's the fingers pointing forwards. Block, step back, spit out. Good. And cycle, half step. Stretch your right hand forwards, pull your left hand back. Cycle and step left. Good. Stretch, release and turn. We're going to step to the southwest. We block in front of the chest, feed it forwards and rise. There's your fire element. Down, step, block, in front of the heart, rise. Can you see? One more time, slide down, block, same side that stepping goes up, the other hand in front of the heart, presses forwards with a half step, and release and scoop. Breathe. Good. You can do as many of these as you like, of any of these exercises. Bring the left side in. Now I'm going to do the same as you for the next movement because it turns. Okay, so movement 6 harmonies. We go 1, 2, 3, and 4. We swing the arms under, turn on the heel, step the back foot through, and open left side. We turn back the way we came, arm up, step back, swing, turn on the heel, up and over, step, open right. Keep turning and step through, cross arms. Now if you have space, you can start to walk. Across the front foot, step back, turn, repeat, step forwards, keep weaving, step back, return to center. Take a breath. For movement 7, 7 stars in rotations, Qigong. So we lengthen up, we relax down. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Thank you. Right, ready? And we scoop. Left hand under. Expand, push the heel out. Oh, look at that, we're doing it the other way around. That's fine. We step. Okay, so the front foot goes first. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn in. Just bring the arms in. Lower hand comes up, release the foot. And the same on the other side, keep the shoulders relaxed and down, off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and finish. Take a breath. We can rest level with the waist for a moment. And point to the floor. Good job. Recovered. And excuse me while I grab a tissue. Sorry about that. Sorry. I have the window open for some fresh air. I'm a great believer in exercising in fresh air if you possibly can. But I'm also prone to allergies. So hay fever, mold, you name it, so apologies. Good, you did very well. Now, Master Lock is a great one for flipping the way we do things. So in the Phoenix, you can do the Phoenix all the way through, and then if you want to do the second half, as he calls it, you can do it all the way through in the mirror image. You do it on the other side. When it comes to this form that we've just done, the 7 stars in rotations, he says mix it up, do it in different ways first. So sometimes, for example, you'll turn in one direction first and then change. And he says the next time do it the other way. Don't do it the same way each time. And this is really because we want to keep our minds flexible. We want to keep our body memory fluid so that we remember what we're doing excuse me, but we can adapt and change. Now, excuse me, sorry, my nose is running like anything. Hold on. Yeah. So we want to be able to be adaptable and changeable. Now this is useful across the board. So if you are very much interested in the martial aspect, which you may be, there are those, you need to be able to adapt and change. You know, if you're in an actual combat situation, someone will not approach you and fight you in a sequence that you know. They will try to push you off balance. They will try to confuse you. They will try to get through your defenses and your barriers. So if you only know how to do movement in body memory in one particular way, it is pretty useless, because though you may be able to defend yourself against a choreographed attack, if it's anything other than that, what's the point? So from the martial perspective, it is vital that we learn how to adapt and change our movements, that the movements are a blueprint rather than a hard and fast only way to do it. But also, actually, from the health perspective, if you're not at all interested in the martial, but you only want to do this for health, this will also help us keep neural plasticity, which means it helps our minds be flexible and adaptable to change. And this will help us with stress levels, that we're able to cope with stress. People think of stress as a bad thing. It's not. Actually, it encourages us to grow. Only when stress levels go off the scale, then it becomes distress, and it can actually cause us physical harm. But healthy levels of stress actually help our systems grow strong and more resilient to all manner of issues. If we can cope with a little bit of mixing it up, then we learn to relax and adapt to that impetus, to that input of stress. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. It will actually help you. And I know this myself. I am very much someone who likes to have one way of doing things. Excuse me. For example, I like to know the route that I'm driving if I'm going somewhere. And if there is an obstacle, maybe there's a diversion, I get really quite upset and end up having to pull over and phone someone and say, help, where do I go, how do I do this? Whereas if we playfully try going to our destination different ways each time, or just try another road, take a left and see what happens, and get a little bit lost, that's absolutely fine if you're not in a hurry. But actually it helps us to manage stress levels, because when we're exposed to it regularly, we can adapt, we can learn to cope, and it's no longer a major issue. And so the same is true in our training. If we do it a little bit differently every so often or regularly, we will find that we are able to adapt, and we are more able to cope. So recently someone in a class, in a Zoom class, had a doorbell ring, and and they had to go and deal with it and come back, and when they came back they found it very difficult to get back into the flow, which is understandable and to be expected. But the more we are exposed to these little interruptions and allow ourselves to get back into it, the quicker we will be able to get back in. So we're not looking for distractions, but when they happen, it can actually be a training tool. And it is something that we use in martial training quite a lot. I don't do it personally, but there are plenty of examples where someone is trying to do their form and the rest of the class are encouraged to try to distract them whatever way they can, so that you can learn to remain centered and focused even when things are pushing us off. So I've given you a speech for you to recover. So now let's jump into the Phoenix. And much as I'm saying, do it both sides, we're just going to do it one side today, just to keep pressing at the body memory, getting it more solid. But maybe next week we'll have a go at doing it on both sides, or even just the second side. All right, so let's have a go at our Phoenix. One of you, your screen has just gone blip. I don't know what that's about. Hopefully you can still see, but we'll get started. Okay, so ready? Phoenix in graceful clouds of blessing on the first side. We lengthen up. We relax down. Calming down. Ready? Excuse me. And we'll begin. Whoops, close right. All done, and recover. And excuse me. So this is one of the other facets of the same practice. Sorry. But sometimes the very thing that's distracting you is your own body. So if you have a runny nose, or if you have an itch, or if you have an injury that's niggling at you, these are also part of the training. And part of that training is learning to differentiate between those things that need attention and need you to do something about them, and those that you can override. So my nose was running, so I decided I could override it, I could keep going. Whereas if an injury is starting to scream at you, that may be, the likelihood is that it's indicating that actually something is wrong with your practice. So not necessarily, but quite often the case. So say, for example, your knee is hurting you every time you're doing a particular movement. That is a big red flag saying you're doing the movement wrong. So, and literally sometimes it can mean the difference. It can be the difference between a couple of millimeters in the wrong position. So, for example, bow stance. Here I am in bow stance. If I were to do bow stance like this regularly, that would start to hurt my knee. So I have to make sure that I'm on track. Now that's maybe a couple of millimeters, but can you see it's quite obvious it's a different position to that, as is that. So these micro corrections or micro mistakes, with the nature of Tai Chi being repetitive, you may be able to make a mistake for years actually without reaping any kind of injury. But if you do get injured, those tiny mistakes done again and again can actually be very irritating and unpleasant for your system and can cause pain. So when we have pain as we practice, we need to adjust. We need to decide what is wrong and do something about it. Now I've known people who have practiced with broken bones and they were in pain but they kept going. That's called the fire method. It's as opposed to the water method. The fire method means plow on through, and it can turn out well, but it could also turn out badly. As I say, if it is that you are doing something slightly wrong, that slight irritant continuously niggling your system could end up causing a bigger issue. And that happened to me, oh gosh, about 15 years ago, I would say. I had an injury that was exacerbated by some medicine I had been put on for something, and my knee swelled up. And then when the swelling went back down, I was left with an injury, and my Tai Chi was hurting me. And I was actually getting to the point I thought maybe I'm going to have to stop doing Tai Chi because this is not getting better. It was 6 months and it was an issue. And I thought, okay, I'll video myself for my students so at least they'll have some record that they can practice with. And when I watched the video, I noticed that in this warm-up exercise, the knee was slightly twisting. Just slightly twisting, maybe a couple of millimeters, but I could pick it up. I could see that I mean, these baggy trousers don't show it very well, but oh, okay, I'm doing something wrong. And within a week, I had sorted it, the pain was gone. So it can really make a huge difference. So don't ignore your body, but when your body is telling you something, you have to analyze and choose whether to take urgent action or whether it's something that, like my runny nose, that you can bypass, that you can keep going, excuse me, and it's not going to do you any harm. Our bodies can be quite demanding from us, and that can become very distracting if you know, oh, well, I have an itch, and oh, I was a bit tired, and da 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 da. And you can end up not doing anything because your body was telling you stuff. So we have to discern, we have to learn what is a red flag and what is just the body fussing that it hasn't settled down yet into the practice. And that's where standing practice comes in. It helps our system to release, to get comfortable, to settle into a deeper, calmer state that we can interact meaningfully with our bodies to our best advantage. Okay, let us now do our Immortals form. So we're going to go all the way through. We may have time to go all the way through the whole thing twice, or we'll do it once through and I'll just check in with you and see if there's anything that you want to clarify or look at specifically. All right, are we ready? Heels together, please, toes slightly apart. We lengthen through the top of the head. Calming down. Find the fingertips. Ready. Start. Pluck right, turn to the back and step to the side. Pluck left, turn, pluck right. And step. Step through, push the hands out and step down. Keep circling. Keep circling. Good. Take a breath and relax. And close. Well done, and recover. Good. Well, we lost Tony. I think his internet is playing up as much as my nose today. Maybe he'll make it back in. But anyway, any questions or comments? No? Okay, so we could probably do it again. Would that suit? Yeah, okay, we'll do it again. And hopefully Tony can catch up just with the video. Yeah, sometimes internet is a double-edged sword. Over in my home with Willem, Willem wired the house. We do the class in the kitchen, and the Wi-Fi was just playing up one day that I had to cancel class, and he was like, enough, this can't be doing, this can't be happening. So he wired the house so I can now have a direct line in rather than using Wi-Fi, and it certainly helps a lot. Touch wood, we won't have any more trouble that way. So yeah, we tend to like Wi-Fi, but sometimes wires are better. All right, are we ready? One more time. Immortals crossing the sea form. Okay, ready? Check posture. Calming down. And begin. Oops, sorry, and keep going. Right hand plucks, turn to the back, step to the side, left. Turn left, left hand plucks, right hand follows, and fishing toad. Goes left. Good. Yeah, very good. Okay, so we've actually got through our content today quite nicely, to the point we could cram in another round of, excuse me, we could cram in another round of Immortals if you wanted, or we could just take a little bit of time to warm down. What do you say, Eric? Go ahead. Oh, it's still muted. Yeah.
Okay. My balance doesn't seem to be so good this morning, so maybe we should warm down.
Okay, you're saying the balance was good or wasn't?
Isn't very good this
Yeah,
morning.
my balance was a little off there as well that last time I noticed. Yeah, not to worry. Yes, it could. There's always these environmental factors. You never know that there's our own system, our own practice, but then you never know, or there's solar flares, or is, what, you never know what. We are obviously very influenced by our environment, so changes in pressure and goodness knows what. We can only work with what we've got. So yes, no problem. Let's do a little warm down. I'll actually just I'll pop you back on mute just for a wee clean recording because it gets, oops, if I can, there we go. Okay, yeah. So, but again, that's part of the practice, is that we have to adapt and just work with what we've got on the day. And you know what? It makes it fun if every time we practiced it was exactly the same. Even if we were doing it at a good level, it would get very dry and boring very fast. So yes, the body does, not just the body, everything that we've got can throw in obstacles and make things a bit interesting. Like some days you'll find that you just can't focus. Your mind is on other things and you're drifting off in various directions. So then the practice is herding the mind and helping it to focus, and maybe adapting and adjusting what we practice in order to do that. Other days, yeah, we might have an injury or pain, so we have to work with that and accommodate it and help it to heal. Other days you'll just find that everything falls into place and it feels wonderful. But that only happens because we persevere and practice even when we're not able to focus and when the system isn't feeling quite right. It's still money in the bank. Every time we practice, it lays the foundation for our next successful practice. So keep training, keep practicing. It is not just outcome-led. If we're focused on the outcome, then every time we don't have a great session, we don't feel like we're getting anywhere, we can become very disheartened. Whereas when we realize every session is money in the bank, it is accumulating knowledge, strength, body memory. Even when we're not functioning at our best, we are still making progress. And we only get those good days because we put the effort in and do the foundation work by just regularly showing up and doing our training. So it's a different way to think. It is less egocentric and more about the process. We invest in the process, and then we get the benefits that feed back into our life. So that the ego does benefit, but we're not focusing on, oh, I don't feel great today. Oh, yeah, it's tough. It's just we want to accommodate our bodies, but we don't want to pander to every little concern, or you would never do anything. I remember Master Chen one time, years ago, he was saying, so have you been doing your training? And I was saying, well, I haven't been very well, and making excuses. And he said, Jane, Tai Chi is war. It is like you're going into the battlefield. So if you have a bit of a tummy ache in the morning, tough, you go and you do your training. And I was getting a bit of tough love. You see what we're doing, nice and wobbly and relaxed down. And he's quite right. Of course, he's head of his lineage and has a great well, his father is head of the lineage, and he has a great responsibility to keep the flag flying and keep holding it up. We have the luxury of going, I don't feel like it today. That's fine, we can do that. But every time we show up for training, it's money in the bank, and we have to keep remembering that. Let's embrace the air and draw in and relax down. Good. It's a very heart-nourishing little move. It's very comforting. It's like hugging a teddy bear. And again, gather and relax down. And now we'll go all the way up. And shower with energy. Wash away the tension, the tiredness, the disappointment, whatever it is that no longer serves, let it go. Wash it away. Good. Deep breath. Lift up. Lift off your heels. Press your fingers up into the sky. Press your toes down into the earth and think of sealing in your good energy. And now release and guide the hands back to cover center. Let's hug the elbows gently in, feeling into the body, calming down, feeling into the touch and the warmth of your hands, returning your energy to center. Can you visualize a point in the very middle of your belly, hot like the sun, bright spark of concentrated energy? And feel your energy is stronger. Beautiful, well done, relax down. Well, as I say, one of our group managed to fall out. I think the internet just wasn't being kind, so hopefully we can get some recovery and watch the video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and very good practice. It's coming nicely. We get good days, we get bad days in our practice, but every day we turn up is a good day. If you see this calligraphy to my left, that says every day is a good day. And that's Grandmaster Chen wrote that. He did both these calligraphies for me. This one is the name of my school, Jade Maiden Plays Shuttles. I'm Jade Maiden Tai Chi. But this says everything. Every day is a good day. So even if you've really struggled in your training, You have trained. That is good, and that will get you where you need to go. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.